Hello? Hello, welcome to Fanfiction Theater. I'm Tristan from QuipTracks. With me is Tracy from QuipTracks.
Hello?
Whoa.
Whoa. Sorry, I leaned into the mic for some reason. It's not that kind of mic, so I apologize.
Michael T. Bradley is here.
Hey there.
Quinn from QuipTracks is here.
Hello.
And got my wife Kitty here on the floor. She doesn't get a chair.
My wife Jessie is here as well.
Cool.
Also, a cavalcade of animal stars.
Yep. And transition. Here we are. Michael D. Bradley. And we're going to be starting off with the last chapter of Quest of a Lifetime, my junior high Boba Fett fan fiction. Chapter 5, Dan's Boren. And do you want the physical copy?
Absolutely.
That would be. There we go. Okay, that's the second page of the chapter.
Oh lordy.
Beyond that, I don't know if they're even in order. But
Oh, cool. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Okay, and Michael, you're set up to read it.
Yes.
Twitch, Tristan, still quieter.
Tristan,
You know
yell.
what? I'm just
yelling.
gonna turn down the Discord people. Let's go here.
Well,
How's
don't
this
punish us for your mistakes.
Testing. Michael, say something.
Oh, yeah. Alternate testing.
Testing as well. Testing here. Testing from here. Guys, if it's good, I want you to tweet hashtag QuipTracks rocks, and if it's bad, hashtag QuipTracks sucks. Let's get that engagement up, people.
Let's make that second one. Damn you, QuipTracks!
Or how about maybe
Yeah,
QuipTracks
hashtag
rock?
Dan-
I don't know because I can't hear them.
Perfect. All right, I'm ready.
Let's do
Okay.
this.
We're ready.
Dan's Boren. Boba Fett, although exhausted by last night's adventure, couldn't seem to fall asleep. His mind wandered. Kelsey had quite a fair appearance, and her value and credits was sure to be equally fair. Boba Fett was about to fall asleep when he... Can he do that? Just randomly
Just a
kidnap
fair
people and
price
just
for her?
find a fence for him?
She's probably
Boba Fett was about to
some
fall
dark
asleep.
territory there.
Yeah, Boba Fett was about to fall asleep when he thought of something. He moved over to Craig, who was snoring loudly.
Psst. I don't know how to say psst in Boba Fett's voice, but psst. Hey, wake up, you buffoon.
He said in Craig's ear. Craig woke with a start.
Get up.
Fett snapped. Craig stood up, yawning.
Where's Kelsey's room?
Kelsey's room? I don't know. Why?
Come on.
Finding Kelsey's room wasn't hard, as there weren't many rooms in the house. It, too, they discovered,
Anyway,
had...
Craig, thanks for coming with me to find it. I get scared.
There is a bit of headcanon about the fact that Boba Fett might have a crush on Craig, because, like, he takes off his helmet with him.
Oh yeah.
Pretty sure
he's
they...
like, yeah, you're the first to see.
Pretty sure they held hands when they jumped on Womp Rats. It's
Okay, I want to start. I'm gonna put out this request, an art request, for that moment where he's taken off his helmet, and Craig is the first to see. That's.
but he's just a normal guy, and he's just like,
Yeah.
yep,
Yes.
it's me.
You're the
All
first
right.
to see.
It's
like this really abstract normal guy drawing.
Talking about rooms, it too, they discovered, had silken strings of beads. Upon entering, however, they found no sign of Kelsey.
I wonder why.
Craig began, but Boba interrupted him.
Look,
He said, pointing out a window.
tracks.
They took a train right out of there.
That explains it.
Ah!
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 Spitfire says, where we're going, we
Boba
don't
Fett,
need
you there?
doors. I was reading the chat. Okay. I was engaging with our audience.
I was worried that you might have broken your broadband antenna.
Oh, no.
You can feel free to tweet hashtag Where's Boba Fett.
We'll have to find her. I'm not going to give up such a valuable bounty just like that. I assume she has a valuable bounty because of her appearance. Come on.
Bounty?
A bounty, you know, getting money for...
I know what it means!
Craig shouted.
But...
So get moving.
Boba interrupted. They went back to the living room, where Fett replaced his helmet. Then they set out to find Kelsey.
With a saucepan. Replaced his helmet with a saucepan.
Right.
I figure Craig probably took like a bead of strings, and just like now he's got like a bead whip or something.
Sure.
They traveled in the direction of the tracks. Dune after dune went by, and still no sign of Kelsey. Then they saw a building. It was a big building, something like a cathedral. As they approached the building, it seemed to get even. I don't know why I'm turning into Porky Pig tonight. As they approached the building, it seemed to get even bigger.
Yeah, I mean...
Wow!
Said Craig.
It looks so familiar.
Familiar?
Wait a minuet!
Craig exclaimed.
I truly
That's
did believe...
where we filmed Agent of Doom 3!
What was
I
that,
truly did
Tristan?
believe that that's how you spelled minute. I'm pretty sure it's like minuet, like if you actually like sound it out. Whose phone is ringing?
Hello?
Okay.
Craig exclaimed. Or no, you already said that's where we filmed Agent of Doom 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. How many Agent of Doom movies are there?
We're currently working on Agent of Doom 7.
Are any of them any good?
No, but they seem to sell well.
Oh.
Soon enough, they arrived at the massive cathedral.
I'm sorry I asked. Oh.
The main doors were at least 20 feet high, but there was a smaller set of doors off to the side. They entered and were instantly amazed. There were gigantic pillars stretching up to the ceiling on either side of the 80-foot wide hallway. The pillars were around...
throwing Spider-Man through several of them.
I was just thinking about that. The pillars were around
Crossing over.
Pillars were around 6 feet wide and at least 100 feet tall. The hallway extended for at least. They could be 7,000 feet tall.
What's great about this is that you can actually recreate this in real blueprints, like Noah's Ark.
Sure.
Right.
The hallway extended for about 200 feet with pillars every 30 feet. I feel like I'm dungeon mastering again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does that math even add up? Isn't there like a pillar and half in the wall?
Pythagoreanly possible?
17 goblins have a lair about 37 feet down the end. Then it opened up into a larger room.
Oh my gosh!
Craig exclaimed.
I guess I had remembered the sheer size of the place, but I must have forgotten my own smallness in comparison.
All right.
Isn't that what we all said?
Sure.
You forgot that he was not that big.
Yeah.
What?
Boba pondered that
Don't
a
worry.
moment, thinking Craig was insane. The story's got it covered. But after considering, he found that he was right. After walking, I did forget Craig was that small myself, huh? Are you trying to do dramatic zooms with me? What's going on over there?
No, I was, when I show members, it shrinks you a little bit.
All right. After walking the length of the hallway, they were amazed once again. The ceiling was the same size on the edges, about 20 feet of edge on either side, supported by 4 10-foot pillars each. But in the middle, it arched upward another 40 feet above the hallway ceiling. The arch, completely glass, started at exactly the width of the hallway, perfecting the utterly dazzling effect.
Okay, I'm gonna have to request that somebody does the math on this.
I actually have already done the math. There would be
Really?
a pillar every 6 feet and 8 inches.
Okay.
Quinn, you're amazing.
Thank you.
There would be
Now somebody
Lot
put
of
it into
pillars.
Google SketchUp and make sure you remember Craig's smallness.
well, you gotta take that into account.
Boba Fett was gaping under his helmet,
Oh,
and
no.
Craig also was goggling at this architectural wonder. But this was short-lived, because at that moment, a man in an odd, white, sandy spacesuit stepped out from behind a pillar. He wore a large helmet, which was, in Boba Fett's opinion, a very boring and unimaginative one. Vaguely
Oh my
spherical.
god! I can't believe, do you see what helmet he's wearing?
Vaguely spherical with a plain sort of transparent visor.
Is it a space ball?
Is it an actual astronaut?
Could be.
Really lost.
His shirt
Spitfire says
said
it sounds like a
NASA.
boss fight is coming up.
Hello, I come from a galaxy far, far away from yours. I'm lost.
You're my slave now. You look like you'd bring a good bounty. Because this is like a
You're
Boba Fett
pretty
fair.
high. I bet you'd make a good bounty.
It's like a Boba Fett video game. Like it's just you just touch people and then bling, you can sell them for bounties. One of the reasons Fett liked his helmet so much was that it was tinted. Aside from shading from the sun, it prevented others from interpreting his facial expression. He's
And making him a
sunglasses
very
all the
interesting
time.
character to behold.
Yeah, I remember that scene from Darth Helmet too. That's,
I feel as if this was like a little like aside from Tristan. Like, isn't Boba Fett really cool?
Oh
guys?
yeah, that's totally
Oh, yeah,
what it
yeah.
is.
He stepped out further, holding a gun to Kelsey's head. Fett and Craig froze.
What do you want?
Called Craig.
That was my line.
No,
I'm getting hit in the shins for nothing.
The man cackled maniacally.
Oh, who is this man?
I'm
Who's gonna be this
procuring
man?
a picture of one Dan
Of-
Sporen.
don't
We'll see.
Tristan's goggling something over here.
He barked.
Oh,
Hold on.
Oh,
Temp
It's too
images.
small.
is it that dog thing from the entrance of Jabba's palace?
No, it's Dan Sporen. He's got a boring ass space visor.
Look at him go.
He's
him.
boring?
We're reading his outfit right now.
I can't see the Twitch.
oh, I see what you're talking about. Okay,
I will
yeah, he is
also-
boring. I agree
or
with
your
Boba
little-
Fett to-
More
Little
like
renegade.
Oh yes, Spitfire.
Not the prop master's best work, thought Boba Fett. Must be the same guy that
is this
gave
guy
that
like an extra
guy
or
an ice
something?
cream machine.
They literally were just like, this guy's boring. Oh, got it. Dan's boring. Let's move on.
What about my character, Dan? Dan's boring! That sounds like a Star Wars name. That's how it may have happened.
The card is
All right.
now over the text.
Yeah. I know. Tracy,
yeah.
if you want
Okay.
to see him, I just posted it in the Peanut Gallery on Discord.
Why the heck would you make this guy a main character? He's clearly like...
I don't know. I mean, I just
Filler.
needed some stooge.
Just cut the deck.
It's cropped
card
weird.
and went with it.
You guys see this?
Just flipping
cropped
through
weird.
the cards. This one. Dan's boring. Oh man, he's so. He's got this like white, dusty space suit and like just a clear visor.
You know, Spitfire, it might be, because that space suit got used a lot in a lot of other places. Like, everybody thought it was amazing, and it was just rented out all over the place. I know a couple of Doctor Who stories have it in them.
The 2001 was done before Star Wars.
Oh,
I have
okay,
to
so
pull it
probably not. So probably not then. Or no, wait. You said 2001 was done before, right? So
Yeah.
Right. So they would have had the spacesuits from it to
Yeah.
use in
Yeah.
other things. It would have
Oh,
kept
you
them in
think it?
storage.
Okay. Yeah.
All
But
right,
it's
are you
not
ready for that
all
man? That man that you saw in the picture to cackle maniacally? Would he just immediately fog up his entire visor?
Is that maniacal?
Could you imagine sneezing in one of these? I just did.
Back down the hall,
he barked.
or your little renegade here will pay the consequences.
Kelsey was wearing a pair of tough cargo pants full of supplies, a utility belt, a navy blast-resistant sports bra, and a tan
Well-
vest. And a
Yes,
tan
you can only
vest.
protect a couple cubic feet of your body.
You gave her bikini mail. You gave her space bikini mail.
Yep.
Yeah?
I totally thought we were talking about Craig here, and so I was like, "That's not how I pictured him at all." And a tan vest.
Fine though. Probably fetches a good bounty.
And a tan vest with plenty of extra energy cell clips. At least she hadn't left unprepared.
Yeah.
Oh, my midriff! Damn it!
Come on, move, varmint.
The man snapped. They backed down the hallway they had just come up. As they did, Boba thought to ask,
Who are you?
the
Oh,
man
you thought to
cackled.
ask, huh?
The man, I'm like, why are they backing away? Isn't this place gigantic? I see that. I assume there's enough room for them to kind of like move or like move around, but it acts as if they're smushed in here. Anyway, the man cackled again, then said,
I'm the single most best gunner and bounty hunter in the galaxy. I was.
Is he Dirty Dan? What is this guy? Not the guy I'm seeing on the picture, that's for sure.
Look, some liberties were taken with his character.
Well, why? Pick another guy! Pick a Tulls!
He could be 12 under that helmet.
I was thinking something a little more descriptive. Dad's boring!
he
Is that
yelled.
more like Steve-O?
Actually, the first one was more descriptive.
His words
true.
echoed and reverberated through the massive hall. He waited for silence, then laughed like a madman. Craig
Like a
ventured to
madman.
like a madman. Craig ventured to say,
I don't think you're the best bound.
but was cut off by more laughter from Dan's boring.
Who is?
He inquired.
Boba Fett?
I think he is 12.
That's ice cold.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna do an art request of Boba Fett.
Sinister laughter. You see that?
Sick burn, says Spitfire.
There you
There
go.
it is.
Yeah.
His sinister laughter filled the halls again. But this time, Kelsey elbowed him in the stomach, making him stumble backward. Now Fett used his flamethrower. It engulfed Boren's head in flame.
Very
Got a helmet on.
Yeah.
Then, to everyone's surprise, Dan's Boren started cackling again. But Boba stopped flaming him.
Please no flames.
And found that he had done absolutely no damage whatsoever.
You didn't think I was prepared for that when I came for you?
Dan's Boren roared. If that damned Luke Skywalker hadn't chopped up his capture cable, Fett would have shown that pile of dung what a real bounty hunter could do.
Oh, if only I had my capture cable. Oh, then you'd really be captured. Then I'd capture you. What good?
Is that like to get video from the PS3? Is that what that does? But no. And to think that he would have shot the fool if it wasn't for ex-frozen friend Han. But there was no time to lament on this now.
Ex-frozen friend.
Yeah,
Yep.
is he not?
The formerly frozen friend known as Han.
Right.
I'm looking over your resume, Mr. Solo, and here it says that you're an ex-frozen friend.
It was college.
I did my time.
Then there came an odd sort of bellow that made all of them jump. They were just wondering what it could have been when a dewback came charging through the set of doors that Fett and Craig had come in through. It charged, bellowing all the while, straight towards them. They dived out of the way as it stampeded down the hall. In his haste to get out of the way, Dan's Boren had dropped his briar pistol, and Kelsey had snatched it and pointed it at Boren's head.
Get up.
She snapped. Boren scrambled to his feet. Craig did a very good impression of Boren's mad laughter and yelled,
Who is the best bounty hunter now? Dan's boring?
Dan scowled as they all laughed at him.
Hey, stop flaming me!
All right, down the hall.
Said Kelsey curtly.
Hands on your head.
Sorry,
Kelsey
hold on a
Curtly
second.
sounds like a good character. We need to write in Kelsey Curtly.
Hands on your knees. Hands on your knees.
Bless you.
Tracy, can you deliver that Dan's boring line again?
Okay. Who is the best bounty hunter now? Dan's boring?
It's not working.
It's not working.
It's not working.
I'm sorry.
You're trying to do a sound effect? Is that?
Yeah, I was trying to do the laugh track, but
We'll add it in post.
Oh no.
They started to herd the crazed bounty hunter down the hallway. They had gone only a few yards when the ground started to shudder. Then the entire
Yeah,
front
picture him
wall.
popping like Daffy Duck used to. Woo, 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 woo.
He does have that kind of like the Daffy is Space Band sort of vibe to him. Then the entire front wall was blown in. Boba Fett wheeled around, grabbed a screaming Kelsey around the waist, and dived back the way they had come. They landed, and Fett rolled over in time to see one of the pillar's tops break off and come falling down the long distance toward them. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Craig dash behind a pillar that apparently was still intact. Fett and Kelsey hurried to their feet and ran towards the bigger room. Away, hopefully, from whatever destructive force was behind all this. He glanced over his shoulder and saw the pillar top land on Dan's Boren, who was apparently transfixed with horror. It was a clean death, no blood or anything. Good for a PG rating. It just
It's a
landed
clean
on...
death.
Keeping our PG rating.
Exactly.
Your mother could watch it with you.
It just landed on him and quite probably drove him into the ground. Fett had hated
No,
Boren.
that's not probable.
Fett had
What
hated...
happened?
I don't know, that if he had that like round face shield thing on, that might have cracked through the ground, you know? Acted like the head of a hammer or the ball on a hammer. Fett had hated Boren, but it still didn't feel right to have him go that way. He knew that he would...
You mean clean with no blood or anything?
Right.
Well, he hated him. He met him like 2 minutes ago. Like,
in such
Yeah,
a
but I hate
goofy
him, and
way.
I
I think that's what
Just
the
learned about him
implication
tonight.
is.
I think they must have known each other by reputation, though.
maybe.
He knew that he would have much rather died with honor in battle, even if it would be more painful, than to be crushed instantly by some freak mishap. Speaking of which, what was the destructive force powerful enough to do this? It would take a battle tank like Boba Fett had never imagined to take down that wall with one blow. Iron
like
Man
a-
flew through the... The answer came almost immediately in the form of an ear-splitting howl that would scare the wits out of any sane man. Boba spun around. Where there once was a wall, there now stood a tan, horny, and above all else, gigantic crit or crite.
Is that the word you meant?
I think it's supposed to be crite.
It's the dragon from Shrek, you guys!
Crate dragon. It reared up on its hind legs. Oh, you don't want to do that if it's horny.
Well, that's all I know is, yeah.
It reared up on its hind legs, standing a good 80 feet high, and roared again, thrashing something about menacingly. Craig ran over to meet them.
You guys okay?
Oh, apparently Spitfire says it's pronounced crate. Are you a real Star Wars fan?
I think there's supposed to be an A in there too, or something.
Oh, that would okay.
And like two Y's and three T's, right?
Sure, something like that.
But get out the card,
Imagine
goddammit.
the howl. It's the thing that Obi-Wan mimics using the Force or whatever to scare away the Sand People.
And the old version, not the new one.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they changed the Crate Dragon, yo.
What did they change it to?
I don't know. Who cares?
Okay.
He just holds up a
They
walkie-talkie.
changed it. They probably changed it to Hayden Christensen.
He just holds up a walkie-talkie. He asked,
Yeah, let's run now.
said Kelsey as she turned and fled. Well said. Boba ran after her and Craig, but much to their dismay, the crate dragon ran after them.
It's too horny. We'll never escape. We can make it to the room and split up.
Boba shouted to the others. They ran flat out the last 10 yards to the huge room. Boba saw Craig and Kelsey turn right, so he dashed around the left-hand corner and straight towards an open door in front of him. Fett heard the dragon skid out of the hall behind him, but he didn't have time to think about anything except the door.
Larry. Bouncing the camera around again. Okay. Okay, I'm thinking.
Yeah, turn on your reverb.
I can make it.
He thought frantically. He sped through it and skidded into the wall, bruising his arm, but, of course, he didn't care about that now.
Of course. I don't even care.
Of course.
It's gonna bruise.
He ran down...
Think about that now.
He ran down the small passageway and dived as a giant clawed hand caved the door in. Shaking, Boba stood up and looked around at where he was. He was in a small corridor. The only light came from the rubble heap that once was the door. In the dim light, he made out two ridges protruding from the wall at eye level on either side of the corridor. Upon closer examination, he found that they were filled with oil. Above them, there were two grates running parallel above the oil. Boba knew in an instant what they were for. He used his flamethrower on one. Instantly, a streak of fire sped off down the ridge, around a corner, and out of sight. The grates above them
Out of the sight. Off sight.
That's right. Oh man, this is with these longer paragraphs. This is getting tough. Hold on, I gotta find.
It's hard for me to keep track of this. Like
Yeah, I
just
got it.
Halfway
reading.
down the page, Tristan has decided that he hated, what are they, quotes? So now we're just doing italics for when people are speaking from now on?
Well, there's a lot of thinking.
A lot of
Ah,
thinking.
yes.
Yeah.
Thinking.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
Boba Fett's a
Very
thinker.
different.
The grates above them must be to let the fumes out of the building. He stood a moment, pondering who could have constructed this.
Why? But that's not important
Technology is
now.
far beyond mine.
Then he.
Care less about that
I
than
mean-
the bruise on my arm.
I mean, it's a friggin' alien planet, like aliens. I mean, Jesus.
Ancient
Then he lit.
But which one? Who built it?
Then he lit the other one and set off into the unknown.
Into the unknown.
On and on he trudged, around corners uncountable. Then he finally got somewhere. I mean, he was always somewhere, right? To his right, there was an open archway. He peered around the corner. Nothing. Cautiously, he stepped out into another great hall. It was about the same size as the other, but much more elaborate. Oil torches lined the walls every few feet at the same height as the oil trenches in the corridor. At the end of the hall, there was a set of doors. On either side of the doors, there was a half pillar set
Larry,
into the
no.
wall.
Give her to me. Just give her to
Boba
me.
yelled.
Larry!
Flames rose out of it. Boba went to examine it.
Larry.
Turned out that it was filled with oil also.
Turns out.
It's Oil Ocean Zone, and you were turning it into a Sonic 2 fanfic.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Boba thought.
This all must be connected to the first oil trenches I lit.
How cheap must oil be on this planet?
This chapter is Boba Fett and the Corridors of Oil.
Spitfire.
Then he
called it.
Then he spun around as he heard someone scream and something large roar. He sprinted towards the sound, his heart racing almost as fast as he was. The hall quickly split up, branching in two directions, but the scream had sounded just ahead. Boba skidded to a halt in front of the wall. Then he spotted an archway behind one of the pillars. Boba ran to it and saw Kelsey on the other side, paralyzed with fear. Boba inched closer, hardly daring to breathe. Then, around the corner, he saw the crate dragon. Boba knew what he had to do. He hesitated a moment and then dashed towards Kelsey. Without stopping, he grabbed her around the waist and sped across towards... He keeps grabbing her around the waist. It seems a little weird. Okay.
Well,
The other side...
Spitfire
naked
brought
part.
up a point. He's using his arm to protect her non-blast-proof midfoot.
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
Very nice of him. Also, Spitfire says there's so much oil the U.S. is probably going to invade. The other side of the hall. But the crate dragon was faster. It swiped at them and Boba barely had time to dodge it. He set Kelsey down, saying,
Run for it.
She did, and the dragon started to go after her, but Boba used his jetpack to rocket up onto Ida's head. It did not enjoy this and started to thrash about, but Boba used his jetpack again and flew this time to a small ledge high on the wall. The dragon, in his mad flailing, didn't notice. Unfortunately, this left Boba high on a wall with a giant, ferocious beast directly below him.
How did he get high just from changing altitude so fast?
Yeah. He's high on a wall and the giant's horny. This is quite
Yeah.
a party.
I hear that's what happened to Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah.
From his perch, he could see Kelsey far below, looking anxiously up at him. The ledge he was standing on was coated in a very thick layer of dust, dirt, and small dead things. What's the oil concentration like up there, though, Boba? Bored, he decided to edge over to a nearby window. Outside, he saw, not much to his surprise,
Bored.
sand.
Edge over to this window.
Surprise!
I was like, is that supposed to be bored? Why is he bored? It's like,
I just imagine you being like really proud of yourself that you remembered that there was an R in surprise.
but there's not a Z.
Yeah.
Sand, but as he moved closer, it dawned on him that they were in the middle of nowhere. Not only that, because everything on Tatooine was nowhere in Boba's mind, but the cathedral, considering it was a cathedral, could be much larger than they thought. It went underground. As the thought sunk in, the dragon snorted. Boba turned around and saw that Craig had joined Kelsey and, more importantly, had brought a pair of blaster rifles. He saw them talk urgently with one another, and then Craig started urgently signaling for him to come down. Boba hoped that they had a plan as he rocketed from his ledge. The dragon started to reach up to grab him when Kelsey and Craig shot at his hand. It roared, a trifle miffed. Fett steadied himself with his jetpack as he landed.
Here!
Said Craig as he shoved a rifle into Fett's hands.
I found an armory.
In the cathedral?
In the oil cathedral. The traditional armory.
Hiding monks.
Fett shoved them behind a nearby pillar as the crate dragon lunged for them again. He spun around, took aim, and shot up one of Ida's nostrils. That left it roaring with pain. Craig led the way to a smaller room. Its walls were lined with axes of all sorts. Vibro axes, electron axes, and 1 or 2 heavy Nitro 5 battle axes.
Whoa, you got the Nitro 5 battle?
Sweet.
I picture you sorting through your cards looking for axes.
I'm gonna actually look up. I don't remember Nitro 5 being a thing. But
That
Each
seems
had
out
a-
of place.
Is
Each had
Vibroax
a-
a real thing? I kind of
Vibroax is a real thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
vibroaxes are real, of course.
Of course.
They're real. My uncle had one.
Are electron axes for cutting electrons?
Yeah, that's how fine it cuts. Yep.
Well, actually, these are all axes, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Well,
Oh, that's axes. That's how you spell it.
yeah, but it is also how you spell axes. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a Nitro 5 axe.
Even the Nitro 5!
Nitro 5 battle axe.
I mean, I don't know. Did you see some Doctor Who with Ace? She has Nitro 9, but they aren't battle axes; they're explosives.
I'm honestly, really surprised that you included Nitro 5 battle axes, and that's not a thing.
Here's a picture of the card Lando with Vibro axe.
Ooh.
There we go.
You know
All
what a
right.
Vibro axe looks like.
Oh, for cutting vibrators.
Yeah, I see there's the vibrating part above the blade.
Uh-huh.
That's what I thought that was.
And it's got the extra little rabbit ears.
That comes off, you can put in the dishwasher.
Vibro axe with 3 speeds now. Let's see.
many
Where
recalls.
were we? Each had a titanium.
Accents? Sorry.
each had
I'm
a-
sorry.
Each got a little too excited about the vibro axe there. Each had a titanium plaque with its name and former owner inscribed on it.
So it's like a group of monks that are like super nerds.
A museum display of just random weapons. These are the axes through history.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Vibro Axes.
The Axes of Planet Tatooine is our new exhibit here at the Sam Museum.
Where is it? My line or something?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Where'd you get the guns?
Boba inquired. Craig smiled.
We're lucky I was the star of Agent of Doom 3.
He said as he removed a loose brick, revealing a button underneath. He pressed it, and the floor beneath them lowered into another chamber lined with guns. Bowcasters, assault rifles, repeater bladers. Am I reading that right?
It's a
Repeater
Dr. Seuss
bladers?
weapon.
That is what is written there, yes.
Okay, stun rifles, concussion rifles, long-range hunting rifles, they were all here.
There are much better ones than these, of course.
Craig said, looking at his blaster rifle.
But I heard Kelsey scream, and I just sort of grabbed two and ran.
Boba went through the rows of guns, looking at each intently. Then he spotted one to his liking. It was somewhat large for a pistol, but small for a rifle, and it had many projections and alcoves.
Sports utility crossover.
And it had many projections and alcoves that made it look particularly sinister.
Sure.
Stand
back! I got alcoves! I got projections and alcoves!
So
Oil
Who
ran
knows
through
what could
the
be
alcove.
hiding in this alcove?
Oil,
Really
probably.
dark and
That's
scary in there.
That's my guess. Oil. He pointed it at the window at the end of the room and pulled the trigger. Nothing happened. Boba, come on, it's
Boba.
your line, Boba.
I was trying to see if I could look up an
Nothing
image of
indeed
this
happened.
Sinister cove, the sinister alcove having gun. But
Keeps goggling stuff.
I'm sure they'll tell us what it is soon, or yeah.
all right.
Kelsey, what kind of energy cells do you carry?
Boba asked.
E11.
She said,
Same for
handing one
Battleship.
to him.
E11? What kind of sucker do you carry?
Craig inquired.
What?
What? What does this mean?
What? E11 batteries? Well, that implies something about it.
I searched E11 and it's like the standard stormtrooper blaster rifle is E11, but that's she's
the
just
ones
talking
that
about
can't
like
really
the
do anything.
cell.
I don't understand what kind of sucker do you carry? She power
Okay,
her
I think he's
sucker
talking
with,
about the gun. What kind of sucker is that?
Yeah.
Check out this sucker.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Do they even have suckers in Star Wars?
Or maybe it's like to say that like that's for baby guns, so it's like, you know, what kind of sucker do you carry?
You probably eat
Yeah,
baby
for
too.
it, like when it's fussy. Yeah,
Right. She
that's as good a burn as what we've seen so far. So
she held up her large briar pistol.
Made of
Taking a
ice
picture
cream
of a
or what?
briar
Oh, don't
pistol.
shoot me with the briar pistol. Anything but the briar pistol.
So, wait, why are they
Pistol
bragging
type of girl.
about what gun she has when he was carrying her around like luggage earlier? Like, she was a damsel in distress a minute ago, and all of a sudden she has a big pistol this whole time?
Yeah.
He's just negging her, you know.
He likes her. He likes her.
This is a picture of Kyle Katarn with his briar pistol from Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2.
All right.
He looks
shoots
very
briars, doesn't it?
unconcerned about holding a gun up to presumably somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, with all those
Yeah,
alcoves.
Briar's ice cream.
Does it shoot
He's
out
kinda-
thorns? That's what Spitfire.
Oh, look, there's more about the alcoves coming up. Who has this line? Who says this?
I don't know.
Yeah, who says
But-
this?
Oh,
I
it could be
think
anyone, right?
The one that just asked her what was your
Can't
You
line.
were
It's
the
my
one who
line.
asked her what kind of sucker. So I think it's
Okay.
yours.
No,
What?
it's not. Oh, I thought that was Boren's.
He stole it.
This.
She said shortly. Boba, but whoever said it, it's done now. It's done. It's behind us. That's like how he's gonna get a bruise later. We can't think about it now. Boba took the energy cell cartridge and stuck it in one of the alcoves.
Oh no.
Again, he aimed at the window, but this time when he pulled the trigger, 6 blasts shot out and shattered the glass. Craig's mouth fell open.
This is Craig.
Oh, okay. Rapid fire!
He exclaimed.
That's what we need!
Kelsey said nothing, but she seemed impressed. They stepped
Sorry,
back onto
I
the.
thought Kelsey had more lines.
They
I'll
stepped
be here
back
whenever
on.
they pop up.
They stepped back onto the rising floor and flicked a switch in the wall. The floor rose back into place. Cautiously, they exited the armory.
Where to now?
Boba asked.
I know there was some sort of secret passage somewhere near here.
Craig said.
A sort of chute to an underground thing.
Thing?
Yeah, a thing.
He said matter-of-factly. He should have known Craig wouldn't be much help. He turned to Kelsey, who shrugged and said,
I lost my place on the page.
I don't know.
I don't know, some sort of secret underground base or something. Kelsey's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh. Does anyone know how to get there?
Well,
Craig said.
it's been a long time since AOD 3, so... I don't even know what he's going to say there, because what the hell is he talking about?
No, he's
Agent
saying
of Doom 3.
AOD 3.
Oh.
For some reason,
Oh, okay. All right, that period is false.
yeah. Suddenly,
Well,
Kelsey
it's been a long time since AOD 3, so...
Suddenly, Kelsey had an idea.
Would you remember if we acted it out?
Say, that's not a bad idea. What's my motivation?
Who
What?
is this,
You're
Kelsey?
the one who was in the movie.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
They don't know the movie?
Craig's kind of dumb.
7 of
Kelsey
these
next,
things,
Tristan?
though. How you
Yes.
can't keep
Okay.
track of all those rules.
All right.
Right?
We're being chased through the halls by walking dead men, remember?
Craig groaned.
Not that one. That was the worst movie we've ever made.
Remember Invasion of the Brains 2?
Craig shuddered.
Okay, what just happened?
Boba stepped quickly aside as Kelsey shot an imaginary dead man down the hall.
We've got to find some place to hide, Craig. Someplace where they won't find us.
Kelsey said boldly.
I know, but where would we go?
I'm picturing an entire Barbie-style lineup. We've got Kelsey curtly and Kelsey boldly. Kelsey spun around to face him.
Craig, you're the best agent of your kind. Besides being the cutest guy in the galaxy, don't tell me you don't have any ideas.
She said. She looked at him expectantly.
Wait!
Craig exclaimed suddenly.
I think I've got it!
Spitfire says, so his character's name in the movie is also Craig.
Yeah.
He took off
his contract. He forgets his name otherwise. It's just simpler.
It's like on Who's the Boss with Tony Danza.
Yeah.
He took off running down the hall. Kelsey ran after him and Boba ran after her, wondering what could come next. As they ran down the hall, Craig shouted back to them, saying,
Do you remember what the last Dreadlord said when he died?
Oh, is this me again?
Yeah.
I think it was something like 2 minus 5 plus 6 are 2 minus 1 L.
Craig.
I literally don't know what's happening now.
Nor do I.
What?
But I entered the password, so
Craig.
maybe we've unlocked something.
Craig stopped and stared at her. Never improvise again, he said deadpan. Craig skidded to a halt after they had passed 2 halls that branched off from theirs. He then turned around and sprinted in the other direction, Kelsey close behind. After a while, they stopped in front of another corridor.
You see, we went 2 halls forward, 5 halls back, and now we go 6 halls forward again.
Of course, it was a clue.
Boba wondered why anyone would give their murderers why anyone would give their murderers clues that might save their lives. Now he understood why this was their second worst film.
With your brilliance, I'm sure we'll make it.
Kelsey said excitedly.
Because of my writing, you see, I'm making a satirical point about these types of movies.
Right. She kissed him on the cheek, and Craig gave a hearty wink to where the camera must have been during the filming. Then they ran back in the direction they had come. After 6 corridors, they stopped. There was a so really she had the answer all along, though. That's what bugs me about this.
Yeah.
Well, this makes no sense. Like, she ad-libbed something that she wasn't even sure about, and it was right? What?
No, that's the thing.
No.
She apparently knew the line from the movie.
Ad-libbed the line about ad-libbing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I know, but she's
Okay.
she's supposed to have memorized this movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why I say
Like,
she had the answer all along.
They're good actors, you see. They memorize a script. They never forget it. They probably have.
I don't know why they couldn't have
Johnny
simplified
mnemonic brain implants
the
for
map
that
thing.
Kelsey's
stuff.
not.
It's the future,
Kelsey wasn't in
guys.
that movie.
What?
What's that?
Who's Kelsey?
Kelsey is Craig's co-star.
Well,
Oh, this makes somewhat sense then. Okay.
Yeah.
Haven't you ever watched Craig and
All
Kelsey
right.
in the morning?
Yeah.
No, I miss it. I sleep too long.
Spitfire asks, where is the crate dragon during all this? Just waiting around?
Just really horny.
Yeah. He found a pillar.
Tangent horn.
He found a pillar to rub up against. Then they ran back the direction they had come. After 6 corridors, they stopped. There was a corridor on either side of them.
Which one do we go through?
Kelsey asked.
So, Mr. Author, I have a
Who is-
question.
Yeah.
Did they actually run 2 forward and then run 5 back and then run
Yep.
6 forward? They didn't simplify it at all.
Is this Kelsey again?
Okay.
Yeah.
This
It is.
No.
That's-
it's Craig.
Okay.
I don't know what Tracy.
That's what the Dreadlord was. That's why it was like, oh, for my murderers, I will leave minor annoyances.
was it a Dreadlord just a big Konami code fan or what?
He also wanted to make an escape the room.
Press A
Right.
start.
Yeah.
Alright. Right! That must be what the R in the equation means!
So they went right. This on was a much larger passage with archways reaching to the ceiling, leading into huge...
Is that a grocery store?
leading into huge rooms instead of the usual corridors. As Craig passed the first hall, he froze. Kelsey, who had been ahead, turned to face him.
Craig, that isn't in the script.
Craig didn't answer, he just stared through the doorway. Boba came to stand behind Craig. Then he saw it too, a large pool of blood in the middle of the room. Kelsey came, there's where the crate dragon is, I assume. Kelsey came to join them. When she saw what Craig had been staring at, she had to put her hands over her mouth in order to keep from screaming.
What happened? My hand was over my mouth.
She whispered. Oh, I guess I keep going then. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just minor stroke. It's all good. Boba opened his mouth to speak, but Craig interrupted him.
Dang it, I lose my place on these pages so easily.
Like about halfway.
Yeah, okay. Let's just go on with our reenactment.
He said.
Quietly.
Is my hand still over my mouth? Right.
No, I guess not.
Right!
Kelsey said, sounding slightly higher than usual.
Oh, wait,
do that
sorry.
again.
Sorry, like
Sounding
different,
slightly
sorry,
higher.
higher than usual. All right. Right.
Kelsey said, sounding slightly higher than usual.
Where were we?
They hastily walked the last 50 feet or so to the next archway. This one not capitalized for some reason, desperately trying not to make a sound.
Okay.
Craig whispered.
What was the equation?
2 minus 5 plus 6 R2 minus 1L.
Kelsey recited.
Right, okay. We went right. 2 minus 1 means we go back and go left into...
He broke off.
Into where?
Oh, just the room with the large pool of blood!
He said with mock nonchalance.
What do we do now?
Boba asked.
What can we? We'll just have to make a run for it.
Kelsey said, readying her briar pistol.
Hold on!
Craig said.
I don't remember what happens.
That's you.
Oh, sorry. 20 dead guys come marching down the hall and knock my gun away. You beat them all down and we get away, remember?
Slowly.
Clearly, no. He just said he doesn't remember.
It's, yeah. Slowly, he nodded his head.
There was something else, though. Maybe we better act it out. Act it out, kids!
Kelsey sighed and shook her head. And she composed herself and put out. She put out.
No.
Put out. And put on a terrified expression.
Hold on, let me just...
There it is. Hit the title of the stream.
Do I get the honor of saying
Yeah.
Great Scrunt! How will we make it out of this one, Craig?
Everybody throw your rolls of Scront brand toilet paper at the screen.
Pew, pew, pew.
Okay. Don't worry, I was trained for this sort of thing.
Craig started punching and kicking about in a way that he had been fighting... Oh, wait. Okay, sorry. Craig started punching and kicking about in a way that, had he been fighting for a living man... that had he been fighting a living man... It's, for some reason, that sentence did not scan in my head.
Fighting for a man worth living for.
Would probably cost him his life. After a while, he stopped and turned to Kelsey, who was staring at him as if he'd just stopped the universe from exploding.
Starring at him, and it should say co-starring, right?
Yeah.
Is he just like pinwheeling his arms or something? So he's clearly fighting really, really badly.
Yeah.
All right. Craig,
She breathed.
you saved my life.
She flung her arms around him and gave him a kiss that would have made the average man faint dead away. Craig, however, was, and is, far from average.
Spoiler, he makes it.
When they
He's not a good fighter, apparently.
When they finally disengaged, he straightened up and looked boldly down the hall.
Let's kick some dead dude butt!
He sprinted down the hall, Kelsey close behind, with Boba following up and back. Craig and Kelsey pulled ahead and reached the archway first. They skidded and nearly fell over, then they hastily dived back the way they had come. Boba had to jump over them to keep from trampling them. In mid-jump, he realized that their fright was not staged, as Boba had thought, as a tremendous roar signaled the presence of the crate dragon.
Here he is.
Yay.
Oh yeah, the actual threat instead of the the dead characters from the movie were reenacting for whatever reason.
So the large pool of blood was not the crate dragon. So that's just a mystery.
Well, no, just keep going. Keep going.
Maybe it was the dewback? Maybe the crate dragon killed the dewback. He landed and slid to a stop just in time to see the monstrous lizard throw a dewback's head at him. There we go. He utilized his jetpack and it soared under him and wedged into the archway behind him with a mighty crunch. Boba landed.
His jetpack soared under him?
I am the mighty crunch!
Yeah. Boba landed on his feet and immediately took off running. He rocketed over the bloody dewback head and into the room opposite the one the crate currently occupied.
I shall partake of the running now.
When I said it, it sounded like took up running, and so it's like, he's like, yeah.
Or took two running. Anything else. Any other.
Peering over the head, he saw the Cryet dragon grab at Kelsey. One of its
Crouton dragon.
One of its three
I'm
front
getting
claws
lost here too.
One of its three front claws. The end. Okay, never mind. One of its three front claws pinned the inside edge of her pants to the ground, halfway up her leg. It raised its other arm to slash at her again, but at that moment, Boba, Craig, and Kelsey whipped out their blasters and fired at the dragon's neck. It reared up, dragging Kelsey along. 4 feet above the ground, her pants ripped. This
cravat dragon, man.
So, are you really doing the cliche action movie thing where you get the woman's clothes to be slowly ripped away?
The horny dragon.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just wouldn't be honest if the dragon didn't do that.
It's like you had that clean death for nothing.
This had 2 immediate effects. First, Kelsey dropped her gun as she tumbles to the ground. Suddenly, we're in present tense. Second, the sight of Kelsey's perfect leg momentarily petrified him on the spot. He wasn't in a...
Talking about Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. I'm pretty sure it's the horny dragon, right? That's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Maybe it is.
He wasn't in a
load of that gam.
See, like I said, we're getting into not only the Douglas Adams influence, but also the Piers Anthony influence, and this is pure Piers Anthony.
Got it.
Yes.
He wasn't in a trance long, but long enough to get them both into serious trouble. Boba leaped over the dewback head as the Cryat dragon opened its toothy mouth and lunged at Craig. Firing repeatedly, he charged...
Where this dewback head is in relation to...
Has he just been hopping over it for like the last 3 paragraphs?
Spinning around the room.
It's I really feel like we need miniatures to keep track of everything since we entered the cathedral.
I'm gonna make an animatic of this using sophisticated computer electronics.
Firing repeatedly, he charged towards them. Craig dived aside and Kelsey struggled to her feet.
Craig,
Boba called.
Take Kelsey and run.
Craig raced over, scooped Kelsey up, and ran into the room. The dragon started to follow. Boba used his jetpack to rocket up. He caught the Cryat dragon's tail, causing it to whirl around in his direction. The tail pulled him through the air at colossal speed. He let go at just the right moment and went sailing into the room. It was circular.
Colossal speed?
Yeah, sure.
Like
Why not?
very, very big,
Large
sizable
Highly
speed?
volumetric speed.
It was speed was many parsecs. It was
The biggest speed I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was circular, at least 300 feet wide in the middle, with many large pillars. How far apart were the goddamn pillars?
If it's circular, how?
Abruptly, he
Okay.
realized that he was, as all falling objects tend to be, on a collision course with the floor. Not wackiness. He turned on his jetpack to slow himself down. Unfortunately, he was, firstly, nearly out of
Page.
fuel, and secondly, he was headed for the large pool of blood. You know,
Yeah.
you know what there was
drowned
not-
in the pool of blood.
Yeah,
So-
it sounds like a Slayer song.
Was this an actual like swimming pool with blood in it, or like?
Down, down, down to a big old pool of blood.
You know, I'm kind of coming to resent the fact that this chapter was called Dan's Boren, because we really did not get very much Dan's Boren.
He died immediately and cleanly.
I-
Hey,
That's,
maybe this is his blood, and it
That's-
teleported somehow.
That's my one big problem, or my one big
Yeah,
feedback
yeah,
point on this chapter is more, if you're going to name the chapter Dan's Boren, more Dan's Boren.
No, I think I figured it out. They're in the chamber underneath the room where Dan's Bourne was crushed by the pillar. And that,
His blood just spurted down. All right, yeah, makes sense. The next few moments went by as if Boba was only half there. He barely noticed Craig and Kelsey's gasps of horror. He scarcely heard the howls of rage from the Cryat dragon. All he knew was that
Is he Bored again?
all he knew, God damn it, all he knew was that he would probably die. He landed in the pool of blood and, since he had been flying at a more horizontal angle, kept on going, sliding along, aided by the slippery blood all over the floor.
He skipped on the blood.
You can.
were you still doing slip and slides when you were writing this?
I think blood skimming was also a
This
Slayer
would be a
song.
great chapter!
He saw Craig aim his blaster rifle at the pillar that Boba was destined to run into. Boba, struggling to keep his balance, pulled out his own gun and fired at the same moment Craig did. The pillar shattered, turning out to be hollow. Hollow? What? The hole grew larger as Boba rushed towards it, and he was plunged into darkness. Section break.
What?
Boba Fett was deposited on a hard, cold rock floor. He shakily got to his feet, flicked the night vision switch on his helmet, and looked into the barrel of a concussion rifle owned by none other than Bosk.
It's Bosk!
Bosk growled menacingly and motioned for him to go down the hall. Boba put his hands on his head and walked down the musty passageway. What a great time to meet up with his arch rival! Unfortunately for Boba Fett, Bosk was much more than a bounty rival. Unlike Dan's Boren. Boba still remembered what Bosk had done to Carl, and he suspected that Bosk still remembered Carl.
Referred to in past tense because he's dead.
Carl Wilmch, the scruffy-looking nerf herder.
And he suspected that Bosk still remembered what Boba had done to him. They walked on in silence. After a minute or two, they came to a door.
A Monet, I believe is.
A minute
That's a minute.
Yeah.
After a minute or two, they came to a door. Bosk pushed a button on it, and it slid into the wall. Boba stepped through the door. He now faced a cold, metal wall. Metal. To his left and right, a new corridor extended only about 3 feet in either direction, and then proceeded around a corner.
Metal is the non-vegan metal.
Hold on. Spitfire says, first of all, the most Deus Ex secret door ever. Yes.
It was just
And
in a
second-
pillar.
Right. The pillar was hollow, so it was just.
Was it a laundry chute?
I have no idea.
Picture Bosk is like hearing them fight up above, and he's like, all right, I only had enough money to get a secret door hidden into one of these pillars. I know it's a long shot, but come on, baby. Come on. Let's see.
Also, he suspected Bosk remembered having been recently blown out of orbit by him.
Hey, boss, do you remember last month when I blew you out of orbit?
No, it was like last night. Remember he crashed? I mean, Bosk... Did Bosk get blown out of orbit? Because Boba Fett definitely did. Boba Fett he crash landed.
There's a lot in this. Bosk didn't object to the path Boba took, so he assumed that he had chosen the right path, which was odd because he had gone left.
No!
He round that. After I finished reading it, I was like, "Oh, I get it now," and I read that wrong, and fuck you. He rounded the corner and found that he was in a new room, or rather that the corridor he was in was nothing more than a thin wall separating those few feet of corridor with the rest of the room. Why? Okay, I'm just gonna accept that sentence as making sense somewhere. Why this was so, he had no idea.
Why this is so, I have no idea. Should be a shirt.
Spitfire says, I meant that Boba got blown out of orbit by Bosk because of what he'd done to him. So, yeah.
Isn't that a Robert
Let's not move on till we get this settled.
It was a fairly small room, well lit by several rusty, sinister-looking light fixtures.
Did they have
As
alcoves?
sinister as the alcoves?
And protrusions even?
I feel like Sinister Floor Lamp must be a They Might Be Giants song, right? In the center, stretching from the wall that Boba thought was a corridor, to the opposite end of the room was a perfectly square metal grate, supported by cables at the corners. Boba had seen this type of machinery before. It was a sort of elevator. The cables supporting the platform...
Seen such grates before in my travels. It's a sort of elevator.
The cables supporting the platform ran both into the ceiling and well down into the floor. The cables pulled on the platform an even amount, keeping it in one place. Whenever someone gets on, it quickly readjusts the amount of pull each side has. Then, by varying the amount each side pulls again, it will lower a race. Thank you for explaining an elevator to us.
Clever!
Were you playing a lot of Lara Croft at this time too?
No, it would be Mario 64 Hazy Maze Cave.
Spitfire asks the very reasonable question, how much oil? Bosk got on, leading Boba at gunpoint. Bosk went to a control panel, being very careful to keep his gun pointed at Boba's neck. Suddenly...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I was handed my pages out of order, so I have suddenly leg.
Suddenly leg.
Suddenly leg!
You don't have any more lines.
Was that a oh god, I'm blanking on the name of it. A Seymour reference? A Suddenly Seymour reference?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Suddenly, around the corners of the wall came none other than Craig and Kelsey, blasters at the ready. Bosk's devious smirk flickered, then turned into an evil grin. Then tuned into an evil grin. Casually, I kind of like that idea. His face tuned into it. His
300 grins and nothing's on.
Casually, he flicked a switch. Instantly, a hazy, luminous, bright blue.
I thought he was flicking a switch on his grin.
Yeah.
Instantly, a hazy, luminous, bright blue haze appeared, stretching from the edges of the...
It's hazy and bright.
So the narration
And
gets
haze.
interrupted here.
Yeah.
Don't shoot
It's
it.
the luminous bright blue haze is appearing tonight. No, don't go, folks.
Hold up. Hold up.
Boba cautioned.
Don't shoot him, folks.
Don't shoot him. It's
Just the piano
hazy,
player.
luminous bright blue haze.
It's a force field. Your blast will bounce right back.
Craig and Kelsey backed away, glowering at Bosk. Bosk growled.
Risaki nexus filled to the shock. Reklak ton zief bakut.
Oh, that's a good one.
Is
that-
he Lovecraftian? What the fuck?
It sounds almost like Klingon.
Yeah.
That could be translated in two different ways.
Don't mess with a Trandoshan. He'll kick your butt.
Or,
Trandoshans are messed up. My butt.
Boba decided
Can we get kick my butt again? You cut out.
Somebody clip that. Somebody clip that.
Tracy, did you hear that Tristan asked for a redo of the last three words?
Oh, okay. I'll just do the whole. Or, Trandoshans are messed up. Kick my butt.
Boba decided that since Bosk had a gun to his neck, he should stick with the former translation.
And that's it. That's the
The end
last
forever.
dry quip of narration ever written on Quest of a Lifetime. Because how could I follow up? Trandoshan.
It was so funny. It's like,
Found the quest.
well, he originally wrote like 28 more chapters, but people just, test readers were laughing so hard they never got past this point. So why bother?
Found the
All right, we moving over to Spider-Man?
Yeah, I think we're ready.
Oh, is
Okay.
Speaking of formerly frozen friends,
Is this a good spot to share some fan art?
Oh, yes. I was just trying to look up. I'm pretty sure I got that like Trandoshan language from one of the Star Wars cards.
Hey, wait a minute. We blocked clipping?
Oh, shit. Damn it.
Oh my gosh. No one will ever remember me now.
Sorry
Without
about
clipping, what am I?
that. I think I probably just figured that if somebody clipped one of our movie riffs, it could get us in trouble. No, I'm not seeing.
That's a good point.
Not seeing any of that kind of language on the in the flavor text here, so I'm not sure. All right, I was just freewheeling it with that Trandoshan growl speak.
Tristan?
Yeah.
Can you make sure you post this fan art into Discord, fan fiction, or peanut gallery or something?
Right.
I will be right back. I leave you in the hands of my capable wife. She's here.
Jesse.
So,
Hi, Jesse.
speaking.
He doesn't
Since
actually
we're-
have a wife.
Okay.
Hello.
Good to know.
Damn.
I don't know who he's talking about.
I want to throw this out there. I thought it would be really neat if we published Quest of a Lifetime with art from whoever wants to contribute.
Yeah, publish.
Yeah, like this, yeah.
How?
Like as a copy table book.
Okay.
Sure.
And then maybe like some blank pages where you can write the ending.
Yeah. Write your own ending. Which translation will you go with in your head canon?
What did you picture the horny Cryat dragon looking like?
Have you tried using one of those programs that like finishes the story for you and running your last like paragraph through it?
We gotta do that.
See,
that's such a great.
see what it see what it continues on.
You yeah, we can try that. You don't get very much lead up. Like you can only put in a couple paragraphs. We couldn't put in like the whole.
Yeah, but think about what that program could do.
Yeah,
with
just
Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Like it knows stuff about like fandoms and things somehow, and it must just search the web.
All right, let's look at some fan art. First, we this was done a few weeks ago for the what is the
It was Spirit.
Mystery?
Miradero Mystery.
Yeah. Spirit Riding 3, a Miradero Mystery, where Smoke the horse was ominously glaring through the window at the OC, and I think you might have missed the next chapter of that. It was pretty anticlimactic. Smoke wasn't even mentioned. So
what?
I know.
Now
us.
Answer me one question. Does Smoke share his views about God with Steve Plank?
We'll never know, because apparently that author didn't think that Smoke was important.
What a jerk.
He was just a red
herring. There are more chapters in that story, though. So
yeah, but
yes,
I mean I'll read ahead and see if there's anything worth looking at, but it went so quickly downhill. I'm
now
still
hold on a
interested.
minute. The most interesting thing about it moving forward is I think the writers' taste in music.
Yeah.
There's a song every chapter,
Disney
and it's
songs,
just from like lamer and lamer sources.
Okay.
Plus, also, Tracy had said at the beginning that he wanted to skip to the end, and we were like, no, we have to read the whole thing. And I mean, they go quickly, right? You know, so
we can fast track them. We can do it as like a speed reading exercise.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Okay, now this one. Wait, who's back there? There's somebody behind.
That's Michael.
Yeah. Wait.
Michael, how'd you get back there?
He's pulling a bad Larry.
No, Michael, leave that alone. Don't. You're gonna knock it down. Stop.
Oh,
it thinks you're the illustration. Oh, right, because you just. Okay.
'Cause you're a work
there
of
we
art.
go. All right, you're gone. You're out. Okay, now this was. We said we wanted to do where you read the description, read my description for Slave 1 to Misha, and she drew what that sounded like.
Oh, wow.
So that description again was the windshield. The windshield was facing up. It seemed to have no forward thrusters, as if it was meant to go only up. The base of the ship was oblong and rounded, whereas the cockpit was on a large, strangely shaped thing protruding from the base.
That is strangely shaped.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I gotta love it.
That's
Okay.
great. That one we've got to put that description
Right.
at the
right.
bottom of this.
Yes.
As a quote from the.
In a very fancy.
It seems
text.
like War of the Worlds illustrators.
It's if you do the copybook idea, you know, like in a children's book where they'll have a picture and then right underneath it, like quote that part,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So-
exactly.
Mhm. Yes. It looks
Misha
like a
says-
New Yorker cartoon.
A little bit, yeah. Misha says, to be fair, afterward I looked up Slave One and tried to figure out how to describe it, and I failed. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. I said my way to try to describe it, which is not good, is like a hairdryer without the base,
Yeah.
and a cockpit, or not, sorry, and a boarding ledge, but that's not really.
This could be a whole game, just a broken Starship telephone.
So I just showed Jessie what the real Slave One looks like.
Yeah.
She didn't know. And she's disappointed in you.
Okay.
It's a good description. I think it fits.
No, I think no. I'm disappointed in the real one.
Oh, you don't like this shit?
No, I think it's way cooler.
Yeah.
We were drawing it, and I was like, okay, so
It looks like a Placosimus.
Like a what?
Placosimus, the fish, those like weird sucker fish that everyone has in their fish tank.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
like
Interesting.
The
Oh, the ones
cockpit
that the ones
ceiling
that
thing is
clean
like a
the
mouse.
fish tank.
Yeah, you just see them kind of like along the glass randomly.
It's cool in the movie.
I'm sure it is.
All right. We got one more here. A Fully
I've never
Billy
seen
already
it
did
before.
that? Which one? What did Fully
Yeah.
Billy do? I
That's
never
awesome.
watched it.
There's another one?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
there's one more, and it's it's
I don't have
Craig, Spellborn, and Boba Fett jumping in unison and facing each other. It's a stomp on the Womp Rats.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Having a grand old time.
Oh my gosh, that rat under Craig.
Yeah.
That's like my new. That's what I wanted to make that my new avatar.
So I was trying very hard to make something that was super simple and straightforward for Misha to just like have fun just coloring, you know, nothing else. And of course, like 90% of that cave is not me. That's all
Right.
Misha adding that on. But it's funny that you point out the rat's face, because Misha was like, is there a reason why these rats look so different from these? And my answer is, after I drew the first two, I was like, maybe I should look up what a rat looks like.
Oh, it's cute. You're like the people who never saw lions, but they tried anyway.
Yeah, in the medieval.
Yeah, the medieval lions. Look up a medieval lion.
Medieval lights are great.
Okay.
Okay, I am definitely making that rat face an emoticon for our channel.
Yeah, that's your new
Can you make
I'm
partner.
making
Facebook
that
again
rat
just
face
so you
right
can use it
now.
as your Facebook profile?
What, Tristan?
I'm making that rat face now.
Post it to
Oh,
me
okay.
IRL.
Yeah.
Post it to rat it. Am I right, children?
Oh,
There's
boy.
a
Pokemon Go to the polls.
I'm gonna vomit blood.
Awesome have.
Yeah.
All right.
Weird
Okay.
hooked tail, too.
Also,
I guess
like,
they're womp rats.
also, this is another thing that Misha had to ask me about. I accidentally, like, when I was drawing a straight line for Craig's left pant leg, put a little bump in there, and I liked it, and I was like, this kind of looks like, you know, because like
Pants,
it takes place. I mean, it obviously doesn't take place in the late 70s, but it takes place concurrent with stuff that was filmed in the late 70s, right? And I was like, I like this little pants flare, and so I put more of a pants flare on the other leg.
I see.
He's not. His leg isn't just broken under there, veering off in two directions.
No.
His cell phone fell through a hole in his pocket and just slid down there.
I thought maybe he like still had the shackle on that one leg, or that was on their wrist anyway.
He's smuggling something.
Yeah. Maybe he's under house arrest.
Yeah.
I assumed his jean leg was flying up from the motion of jumping.
That's a nice assumption.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what it's doing. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so do we want to start with Venom here? Is that where we are?
Yeah.
That's not our current.
This? I don't know if Anna's in this anymore, but
literally the end of the last chapter was him telling her you might want to sit this one out. So I'm gonna assume no, but.
Okay, well, here, a little forward it says, while he and Anna got off, so, I think she is at least in it somewhat.
That's a link to the wrong chapter, by the way. We're on chapter 15.
Chapter, around 15. Okay, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I see this a few more bangs. I remember that.
Yeah.
Some bangs.
Plus, like, Carnage is there in the first paragraph of this chapter, and
Ooh,
you know,
and he was already like what, ripped apart.
Yeah, he's dead.
I remember, Elsa remembered her powers again and froze somebody's legs, and then they were shattered. Like
Hans, yeah, and then Hans got sucked into Tyrannus's mouth.
Right. Yeah, for his final form.
Yeah, when all Vor happy on us.
Okay. Tracy, are you illustrating, or should I go back to reader mode?
What the fuck is up with medieval lions? I've never seen these before. This
Oh my god, aren't they lovely?
I just googled them
They're
too. They
so
are
great.
very weird looking.
They're amazing.
What I like is there's no consistency, you know?
Yeah, because everyone's just guessing. They weren't able to stop halfway and go, you know what? I should Google what a lion looks like.
Right.
It's probably just like a dog, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I am gonna illustrate, I suppose. But if Anna comes up, that's Jesse.
Anna.
Seriously.
But okay, so I was gonna say, how are you?
I'm waiting till I'm waiting till I see the illustration, but you're okay, sure. Yeah. All right, author's note. Hey there, Venomites, and happy Valentine's Day. I apologize for the long wait, but I've been very busy in my life, and it's a long chapter anyway. I hope you enjoy this next chapter, and enjoy your weekend and V-Day. Chapter 15. Kristoff promptly ushered the girls to safety as the others prepared themselves for the ultimate fight. Elsa wanted to stay behind and help, but Eddie would not have it. He knew that if she stayed behind, then Tyrannus could use that to his advantage and do something to hurt her. As far as Eddie Brock was concerned, if Elsa died, then all was lost. Oh, do we have the "it was then" counter up?
Yep, just put it up.
Okay. Fully ascending from the underground pit, Tyrannus coiled up and let loose an unnatural
laugh. Are we
laugh.
ascending? Sorry, go on.
I'll go back.
Oh, sorry. Did you already get to the?
Yeah.
I thought I cut you off.
No, I kept going because I'm a professional, Tristan.
Okay. And remember that Tyrannus is now a giant skeletal snake, but his bones are made of crystal.
Crystals? Yeah, I think
Right.
crystals.
Oh, jeez. Come on. I had to draw...
I'm
To draw a giant skeletal crystal snake? That's not easy.
Again?
Foolish mortals. Even with your powers, you're still helpless against my onslaught.
It's okay. I'll admit I am amused by his constant. I mean, I think so. I maybe he's just trying to make things sound intimidating, but like Onslaught was another big evil crossover guy for Marvel, you know? Yeah. After that, the serpent reared high into the air and attempted to strike the fighters with his super large fangs. That really reads better. After that, the serpent reared high into the air and attempted to strike the fighters with his super large fangs. However, the three of them managed to jump out of the serpent's path in time as its open jaws collided into the ground. Rising up again, the monster spat out the chunks of earth it bit into and roared in anger. The Tyrannus serpent opened its mouth and shot out a wave of fiery energy at the heroes in a fit of rage. However, the three of them anticipated the attack and dodged it in time as the ground they previously stood on got incinerated. As Venom and Spider-Man web slung out of the way, Iron Man went on the attack. After he backflipped to avoid Tyrannus, he raised both of his arms and fired a salvo of rockets out of his hands. The monster didn't dodge the attack or use any force field to protect itself from harm. Instead, the serpent allowed the rockets to reach and hit their target. Iron Man cursed his luck as the volley of missiles detonated harmlessly against Tyrannus's crystal skeleton.
Ha 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 ha. You'll have to do better than that, little man of iron.
The serpent form of Tyrannus mocked. Meanwhile...
That's Iron Man to you.
Meanwhile, Tony Stark...
Well, yeah.
Meanwhile, in the same scene, Tony Stark was inside his Iron Man suit, consulting the built-in computer.
No, we're cutting inside his suit, you see.
Right, yeah.
That's
totally
what was happening outside his suit.
Right. After he found what he was looking for on his main screen and accessed it, he muttered,
Don't worry, pal. I still got a few tricks up my sleeve.
He then flew across the chamber and prepared his trick as Spider-Man and Venom went on the attack. Closing in on Tyrannus, Spider-Man yelled over to Venom,
No matter what happens, stick to the plan.
Looking over to Spider-Man, Venom nodded in acknowledgement and focused on his target. As they closed in on the snake-like monster, both of the supers landed on either side of Tyrannus and collaborated their attack. Doing it all in total unison, Spider-Man and Venom both web-grabbed a large boulder each. Before Tyrannus knew what was happening, Spider-Man and Venom slung their web-entwined boulders and smashed them against the monster's face on both sides. As the Tyrannus serpent was struck from the two boulders, he collapsed on the ground, if only for a few seconds. After seeing that, Spider-Man punched the air and cheered,
Yeah, get some!
Really?
Boy.
Oof.
oh.
So
He's like
your
a-
big
an
victory is the
extra
same
in
thing that
Halo.
the Ewoks did to the ATST. Good job.
Yub.
Yeah.
Yeah. The basics, you know?
He quickly regained his composure when the giant crystal snake rose again and began his attack. He whipped his tail around, which had a sharp blade on the end, and attempted to impale Spider-Man with it. Thankfully, the hero jumped out of the way in time as the tail punched a hole through the wall. Spider-Man watched Tyrannus roar in frustration as he tried freeing his tail from the wall. That was when Venom stepped up to the plate and started his assault on the enemy. After web-slinging onto the back of Tyrannus' head, he balled his fists in the air and brought them down at full force repeatedly. The serpent thrashed madly as Venom continued battering him. A few seconds later, the serpent Tyrannus finally freed his tail and grabbed Venom with his unnaturally long, fork-shaped tongue.
That's what, see, he had to absorb Hans in order to get that.
Oh yeah, there you go. He then tossed the symbiote high into the air and caught him with his tail and wrapped it around him. As he constricted Venom, Tyrannus leaned his serpent head in closer. After flicking his tongue, Tyrannus said,
Flicking it in order to get a perfect C, I'm sure.
I'm glad you didn't join me. You are by far the most dangerous and unstable villain I've ever met.
Bad news, man!
A devious smile crossed Venom's face as he replied,
Thank you.
and then with all of his strength he began to break free of Tyrannus' hold, even as symbiote tendrils began to help push the coil open. As Venom escaped from the serpent's hold and swung away, Iron Man called to Spider-Man and said, Come on, Iron Man.
Eventually.
I'm sorry, I lost the place. I duck if I were you?
If you
No,
can see
I'm
the
sorry.
cursor, I'm right by it.
Remember the new weapon.
Oh, remember the new weapon I've been working on? I think now's a good time to try it out.
Nodding to Iron Man, Spider-Man quickly looked at Kristoff, Anna, and Elsa, saying,
I'd duck if I were you.
Meanwhile, Venom dove behind a nearby boulder and braced in time as Iron Man formed his rocket arm and fired the secret weapon. As the high-powered rocket flew across the chamber, it struck the advancing Tyrannus head-on. Once the missile made impact, there was a bright orange ball where the monster was slithering, followed by an intense light.
Apply this directly to your forehead, you...
The two sisters, Spider-Man and Kristoff, were behind a fallen pillar facing away from the explosion.
There's an Oxford comma there. Come on.
No, I guess you're right. But it doesn't, it reads, I mean, come on. As the group lied on their stomachs...
I'm on my back.
We're sisters. As the group lied on their stomachs with their hands covering their heads, Kristoff could have sworn that he could see the bones inside of his arms. The force of the explosion continued to rage and ravage the chamber as debris flew through the air and crashed around them. After what seemed like an eternity, everything started to settle down again. As a heavy silence filled the air, the group began to stand up and examine the damage. Oh, here's Anna.
Oh, Anna.
Oh.
I'm there.
Pointer's right by it.
Woo! I'd sure hate to see what wars are in the future are like.
Anna exclaimed as Kristoff helped her up. Meanwhile, Venom was across the chamber, emerging from his hiding spot as he called over to Iron Man.
How long have you been waiting to fire that one?
Saving that one for you. Been working for a while now with you in mind.
Iron Man
That's why I said I
responded.
was saving it for you.
Iron Man responded with a sly smile from within his helmet. Venom jokingly called back,
I can't see your smile.
It's from inside my helmet, that's why.
Sorry to
His helmet is
disappoint.
painted like Boba Fett's.
A few moments later, the smoke began to clear and the group eagerly looked to see if Tyrannus was dead. A deep, evil laugh began to ascend from the smoldering wreckage and began to grow louder as the smoke dissipated completely.
Are you
Suddenly,
laughing at your own death?
Suddenly, the monstrous serpent emerged and mocked the heroes.
Oh no!
You want to make it go up?
If that's the best you can do, then this world is already mine.
Meanwhile,
What have you done?
Man, we need a separate counter for meanwhile.
Meanwhile, Iron Man cursed his luck as he said,
Bomb was the strongest weapon on me. I don't know what else to do.
How
Suddenly,
does he curse and say that at the same time?
It's implied that I'm cursing my luck with my offhand remarks here. Suddenly, Kristoff remembered what Carnage had said about the Mundus Calcator and the magical mirror. The mirror and the book are both protected by a strong magical force. If they couldn't destroy Tyrannus, then maybe they could send him back through the mirror somehow. It was then a plan began to form in his head. Venom web slung to the group, and Kristoff got his attention by saying,
Who was Kristoff?
Because Kristoff.
I don't remember.
Me.
Do it.
Really, we're all Kristoff in our hearts, I think.
Yeah.
Eddie.
All right, Eddie, I got an idea. It's risky, but it may be our only chance of stopping this guy.
Catching
I got
Spider-Man
an
and
idea.
That's what he said.
I gots to.
I got an idea.
I have to idea. I must.
I got an idea.
got an idea. Catching Spider-Man and Iron Man's attention along with the girls, he elaborated.
I think I can open that mirror back up, but it's not 100% guarantee.
What do you have in mind?
Venom asked.
I'm
A
going
50% guarantee.
I'm going to bust the mirror wide open. Didn't you just listen to what I just said?
Yeah.
All right, what's the plan? Shaking his head, Spider-Man responded.
There's no telling what kind of repercussions that could have. You could die.
Taking a breath, Kristoff answered.
I know, but it's our only chance.
Anna almost broke
I like
into.
that this is considered dangerous after they blew up a missile in an enclosed space where they all were.
Which it was implied was a radioactive missile,
That's
right?
kind of what the implication I got was.
Yeah.
Too.
I mean, we're all sterile anyway. Like at this point, really. Anna almost broke into a sprint, but didn't, I guess, as she went across the encircled group and grabbed onto
That would have been
Kristoff.
useful.
She thought better of it.
Lightly jogged.
You
over to
can't
Chris.
do that, Kristoff. What if it doesn't work? You'll get yourself killed.
To which the mountain man replied,
If we don't stop Tyrannus, then we'll all die.
He quickly looked
Sorry.
over to. He quickly looked over
Well,
to
look,
Spider-Man.
folks, it's the Mountain Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got
quickly
range.
looked
What
over-
of it? Sorry.
He quickly looked over to Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Venom, saying,
Wait, he's saying this? Okay.
Yeah.
We only got one shot at this, and if things don't go according to plan, then you're our last line of defense. That's why I want you to take Anna and Elsa and get them far away from here as you possibly can.
Kristoff!
Anna pleaded. Suddenly, Eddie Brock made his own face appear as he said,
I'm staying too.
The Queen shook her head, saying,
I lost you once, and I'm not going through that again.
Eddie only looked at her and replied,
Hey, we got to bring the other counter up here. I already deleted it.
Oh no.
Wait, oh, damn it, now I lost it. Only looked at her and replied,
Kristoff is right. We have one chance to pull this off, and I don't think Tyrannus will let him get close to that mirror without a fight, although he's being pretty chill while we talk about this.
True.
Yeah, it's in the same chamber. Like,
yep.
presumably their voices are echoing and everything.
That's why I need to stay, to give Kristoff the opportunity he needs to get the job done.
Elsa quickly grabbed Venom by his symbiotic suit and pleaded sternly,
As Queen of Arendelle, I order you not to stay. I order you.
to which Eddie gently smiled and said playfully,
Sorry, babe. I'm a villain. I don't listen to royalty.
Oh, that's the poster line right there. You put that on a poster. You sell millions of tickets. You're golden.
You're rebel like Pee-wee?
What do you think the song would be like when they finally like go into battle like for the suicide mission? Like what's the like not Aerosmith, I don't want to miss a thing, but something sort of, like that,
The
right?
Eminem song from 8 Mile.
Any way you want it, that's
You got
the way
one
you-
shot.
No, that's that's when the credits start rolling. That's the only song that can go at credits roll.
But I won't listen to a queen. There you go.
Maybe like a Jason Aldean original, but I won't listen to. All right. After speaking, Eddie pulled her close in a tight embrace. As the two of
That's
them
why they
held
call him
each-
Speaking Eddie.
as the two of them held each other close, Eddie felt at peace with the world. Eddie knew he may die, but it was all right, for he learned a valuable lesson during his time with Elsa. It's
That
not
he
how-
would get to apply in the dirt?
It's
Dad?
not. It's not.
Is
how-
that a lesson that you're gonna be able to use? Venom?
Here's what he learned. It's not how you start, but how you finish.
Oh.
He was a villain with a terrible past and derived pleasure from harming people in the name of vengeance. Despite everything that he'd done, he believed he was just lashing out against a society that had rejected him, hurt him. And he truly
He had
was.
just seen Joker.
But upon... But
And
upon,
in fact, that was the case.
but upon arriving in Arendelle and spending time with Elsa, something started to change in him. He began to reclaim something that he'd lost a long time ago. A conscience.
Not conscious until this point.
He just sobered up from a month-long bender.
For the first time in forever, Eddie Brock began to feel guilty for all of the horrible
I'm in forever. I get it.
I feel guilty. I've got a conscience.
for all of the horrible things that he had done to people. He knew in his heart that he could never change his past, but he could still atone for it. He smiled again as he continued to hold Elsa close to him with part of her hair in his face.
Okay.
He thought...
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get some hair in my face so I can do the line right.
Larry?
I'm gonna miss her sweet scent.
He
Sorry,
thought
that was more
to
of a carnage.
I'm gonna miss her sweet scent.
He thought to himself. Eddie
Why
looked
don't
up
you
to
just stop
Kristoff.
that?
Eddie looked up to Kristoff, who was holding Anna as well, and got his attention. The two men nodded to one another, for they knew it was time. Well, it's like a key party here. The two of them gently backed away from their ladies and prepared themselves for their mission.
Oh, no.
Eddie's symbiote face appeared as he quickly looked at Spider-Man and said,
Get them to safety and protect them with your life.
Spider-Man answered,
I promise.
Then he and Iron Man quickly guided Elsa and Anna down a long tunnel and eventually out of the castle.
It was a
Meanwhile,
a long tunnel that led to a chamber with two grates above two trenches of oil, and the pillars
This is what
were
was called-
6.5
This
feet
is-
apart.
this was what was known as an elevator. Meanwhile, Venom and Kristoff were about to break off and take to their duties. Before they did, Kristoff said,
You know we may not survive this, right? No, wait. You know we may not survive this, right?
yeah, Kristoff, did you not catch the fucking meaningful goodbyes? Jesus Christ. To which Venom answered,
I know.
Tyrannus coiled up in a striking position. Finally, I guess he just fell asleep. He regained something special. A conscience. Tyrannus coiled up in a striking position as Venom web slung down in front of him. The serpent mocked, saying,
I see you've come back for more. Perhaps you should have ran away with your friends. There's no running from our destinies.
Venom shot back.
Almost a tick line more than Venom.
Yeah.
At last, something we both can agree on.
Tyrannus then let out a throaty chuckle before he launched forward to strike Venom. The symbiote leapt out of the way. The symbiote the symbiote leapt out of the way in time as the monster collided into the ground. That was when Venom jumped onto Tyrannus's back and began running toward the end of his tail. He knew that fighting one-on-one with this serpent would be pointless and far too risky, and so he had to use another approach. A battle of wits. He remembered how Tyrannus was a sitting duck when his tail was stuck earlier, and maybe Venom could exploit that weakness again. If only long enough for Kristoff to get that mirror open and send the monster back through. As he approached the end of his snake-like body, something unexpected happened. Tyrannus used his tail to swipe him off. Thankfully, he had the quick thinking to grab onto the tail before he could be flung against the chamber. Using it... Oh yeah, across the chamber. I was like, that doesn't make sense. Using all of his strength, Eddie Brock dug his feet into the dirt, slowing the motion of the tail. He then what? I guess they've beat the shit out of the place enough that now there's dirt. He then web shot into the air with it and slammed the unnaturally sharp tail deep into a nearby wall, trapping Tyrannus. After doing that, Venom quickly leapt in front of the giant snake and grabbed onto him by his large fangs. It took all of his strength to hold on to the thrashing serpent who was trying to break his hold.
Trying to break his what?
This is it. For Elsa.
As he held on to Tyrannus, images of Elsa flashed through Eddie's mind. For a few brief seconds, he closed his eyes and smiled as he imagined holding her again.
For Elsa.
While all of that was going on, oh, come on! A meanwhile was warranted here.
It was then.
While all of that was going on, Kristoff managed to sneak across the chamber and grab the Mundus Calcator and approach the mirror.
This is crazy and insanely stupid, but it's our only shot.
He said aloud.
Dumb as a butt. Stupidest thing I ever heard of.
Swords may not work, but perhaps another enchanted object would shatter the mirror. The book. He quickly raised the Mundus Calcator and said,
I hope this works!
Then with all of his might, Kristoff swung the book and slammed it into the mirror. As the two magical forces met, the mirror smashed into thousands of shards that flew everywhere. After the glass broke, a black hole formed and began sucking everything into it with a terrifying force. Suddenly, the black hole began to expand and grow, causing the force of its suck to increase.
She's gone from suck to blood.
Yeah, he's got to be thinking of Spaceballs here.
Yeah.
Taking the Jesus, did somebody die? Taking the opportunity he had, Kristoff ran and jumped deep into the pit the serpent form of Tyrannus emerged from earlier. I love how he has to point out every single time that it's the serpent form of Tyrannus. When Tyrannus saw what happened, he roared in anger, saying,
Whoa. Is this a serpent form?
It is very unclear here.
All right.
Whether or not Tyrannus agrees with Steve Plank is still up for debate.
I could have made a perfect world. A world without suffering or fear.
Wait, what?
That's what you wanted to do? Wait, hold on. Can I take it back?
Because everyone in it would be dead, you see.
Oh, you
A world of suffering, a world of fear.
And you could have helped me achieve that. But you chose to throw everything I've worked so hard for away. Love is weakness, Eddie Brock, and you chose poorly.
Eddie made his own face appear before he responded,
No, love is life.
Right after saying that, Eddie ran back to the tail and jerked it out of the wall. Then with all of his might, he swung the giant serpent high into the air towards the black hole. It wasn't long before Tyrannus was caught by the power of the black hole and began to be pulled towards it. Okay, fair enough. The giant serpent shrilled in anger as the gaping abyss pulled him through. As he disappeared through the hole, he shouted back,
This isn't over. I will return and finish what I started.
Then Tyrannus was no
In
more.
return of Jafar, I mean.
Then Tyrannus was no more. Eddie was hoping that the black hole would close after the Dark Lord went through. However, it only became more violent in force.
That's a problem.
Wait, who's saying this? Oh, Eddie.
That's Eddie.
Yeah.
Dude, give me a break.
He said as he sprinted away from the growing abyss. Eddie sentenced Kristoff. Eddie sensed Kristoff was hiding in the pit, and he also knew it was their best bet at surviving this thing and waiting for it to run its course. Eddie continued bolting toward the pit as the chamber
black
around
holes usually do. You just gotta let them run their
You do herd immunity. You just gotta do herd.
The power of their suck will increase for a while, but
Actually, I
like
think
to
that is how
that
black
this
holes
is what
work. They
the
eventually collapse in on
panickers that were
themselves.
concerned about the Hadron Collider think is what was going to happen.
Sure. After he ducked to avoid a large boulder, he said,
The whole castle is starting to come down now.
"Wah, wah." At this point, equipment from Serpentine's laboratory flew past him and slammed into a line of nearby pillars, causing them to fall apart and fly through the air and into the portal.
I need to know more about the pillars.
Whoa.
Looking above his head, Eddie couldn't believe what he was seeing. The chamber ceiling was all but completely gone as the castle's towers crumbled and fell over. At this point, the black hole was sucking in the exterior of the fortress. Eddie quickly rolled out of the way in time as one of the towers broke into millions of flying rocks and came barreling at him. So it's strong enough to pull apart. It's strong enough to pull apart an entire tower. Yet Eddie is like 20 feet away, and he's just like, "Ooh, I got to duck out of the way of the gravel."
Well, he's in the pit.
Yeah, I
It's
thought he was in a
obviously
pit.
beat black holes.
Unfortunately, a large wooden beam seemingly came out of nowhere and collided into him, knocking Eddie back. He
Oh,
flew
that's
across.
too bad.
He flew across the remains of the castle and into the suck zone of the portal.
Are you serious?
Yes.
He went to my parents' house. That's what I call the suck zone.
This whole story takes place in the suck zone.
When dealing with a black hole, you've got the event horizon, but beyond that, you've got the suck zone.
How did get hit with a wooden beam when it couldn't just be another pillar? At least we know where that came.
Right.
I want all my.
How could they leave the
Fights
suck
three
zone out of Interstellar?
I have crossed the suck zone. So, do you think this is going to be the end of Evil Dead 2? Because I have a feeling that's where this is going.
Yeah.
He panicked as he felt himself begin to lift off the ground, for he knew he was caught. The black hole began to jerk him with a violent tug. That's what happens when you get in the suck zone, I guess.
Yep.
As Venom glided through the air. Thinking fast, he spotted a large metal pipe sticking out of the ground. He knew that the pipe had to go at least 20 feet underground and was connected to the castle's foundation.
So he just recently saw Twister then.
Taking his chances, he shot out a web strand and grabbed onto the pipe. His spirits lifted when the web latched.
Castle.
What's that?
This is a medieval castle, right? Do they?
They
have
were big
indoor
into using
plumbing?
rebar. Big into using rebar in medieval times. Have you seen a medieval lion? His spirits lifted when the web latched onto its target and stuck. Thankfully, his web was very durable and strong as it effortlessly held on to both the pipe and Venom, who was still suspended through the air. His muscles burned and strained while he continued to hang on for dear life.
You've gotten You've better.
You have better.
That's
Is
tough.
that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You've better gotten Elsa to safety, Parker.
He then began to pull his way towards the pipe using the web strand. After what seemed like an eternity of scaling across the remains of the castle, he finally made it to the pipe.
I'm imagining every few seconds another pillar hits him in the face as he's pulling it.
Boing, boing.
Man, this is just like Twister.
There you go.
What? No!
Yeah, he said that.
He put a lampshade on it. He's like fucking Joss Whedon, man.
I was gonna say you're playing that game wrong.
He joked to himself as he shot several web strands around him, tying himself to the metal pipe. Not too far away.
So, you know, if you actually say the movie that you're blatantly ripping off, it doesn't make it clever. It just makes it.
No, like I said,
No, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. We're comedians, Ryan. It does.
like I say, he hung a lampshade off of it. He's just like fucking Joss Whedon now. Not too far away. Spider-Man and Iron Man managed to get the girls far away from the castle with Olaf and Sven right behind
But
them.
not too far.
Not too far away. Contradicts. Oh.
They eventually reached a small cliff overlooking the scene. As the group stopped, Anna pointed and shouted,
Anna pointed and shouted.
been a long time.
Not too far away.
It's literally one word.
Boom.
Look!
causing everyone to turn around in time to see the castle collapse on itself. Spider-Man looked to his comrade and said quietly,
"Can you get a
Should have
reading?"
looked.
Oh wait, is this Iron Man?
Yep.
I'm
Yeah,
surprised
okay.
Anna didn't turn into a pillar of salt. I didn't think they were supposed to.
My scanner is picking up 2 vitals. They're fake, but they're still alive. But for all we know, one of those could be Tyrannus.
Spider-Man nodded and replied,
"Let's hope and pray that it isn't him."
Then they started a prayer circle. Little did either of them know, Elsa had heard every word.
Our Lord Jesus Christ.
As she did her best.
Father God, we got it here today. Father God, Father God, to Father God.
As she did her best to comfort Anna, who was on the verge of crying, she softly said,
Daddy, please be okay.
Meanwhile, back at the castle, Kristoff couldn't believe how fast the castle was falling apart. Man,
We just can't have nice things.
would have thought it would have went more slowly than this, huh? After he shattered the mirror and had booked it to the deep pit, he took extra measures so he himself wouldn't be sucked through that hole. He whipped out a rope from his sack and tied it around part of the foundation from the castle. After doing that, he quickly fastened part of the rope around his waist and braced himself for what was to come. He secured himself in time as the chaotic scene of the surface reached him down below. He was now played by Bill Paxton. Although the underground pit didn't have the flying castle debris, it still had dangers all its own. Kristoff winced as a flying stalactite flew towards him at full speed. He was certain that he was done for when it closed in on him, and so he closed his eyes and prepared for its impact.
Wait.
However, a couple of seconds flew by before he worked up the courage to open his eyes to see that the object stabbed the nearby cavern wall instead. A few more minutes
Wow,
flew.
this is just like Twister.
A few
cow
more
flew
minutes.
by.
A few more minutes flew by before the black hole began to shrink away and disappear into thin air, causing the hellstorm to settle and dissipate. Eventually, Kristoff worked up the courage to untie himself and climb out of the pit to investigate the surface. Once he ascended up, as opposed to ascending down, I guess, he couldn't believe his eyes. There was hardly anything left of the castle save for some broken stone remains. He was about to call for Eddie when he heard something shifting a few yards away. He looked over in time as he saw a pile of stone move and roll away, revealing Venom. During the course of the
he looked over.
3 days later. During the course of the previous events, some debris flew and landed around Eddie Brock, creating a natural wall to protect him from the suck storm.
Seriously? Stop saying that.
Please do not submit fan art of the suck storm.
Do you think, like, for weeks afterwards, he's gonna be like, you know, when it was trying to suck me off, I realized I didn't want this storm to suck me off. Once everything settled, he detached himself from the web strands and punched through his barrier. Once he fully emerged, he saw Kristoff running towards him, saying,
You sure know how to throw a party, don't you?
Yeah, it's a shame you missed out on all of the fun up here.
Eddie joked back.
Oh, trust me, I've had my fair share of fun to last me a while.
Oh!
Oh! Damn!
I did not expect the sucking to be that strong.
The quotes make it so much more ominous with the sucking being constantly present.
I feel like a horny crate dragon got a hold of me, if you know what I mean. After speaking, the two of them made their way through the ruins to look for the others. As they approached the exit, Eddie Brock said,
You know, I never thought I'd say this, but I think I could get used to this hero business.
It's right above it, but it's fine.
To which
slowly
Kristoff,
put on some sunglasses.
to which Kristoff replied,
Me too.
causing Eddie to look over to him and laugh, slapping him on the shoulder. All of a sudden, a couple of distant shouts caught their attention, but not too distant.
Freeze.
Wait, do that again?
Chris.
You're still only getting Chris.
It keeps cutting you out, Jesse. I don't know why.
Oh, you're too high, I think.
Oh, Kristoff!
Perfect.
Yeah.
Eddie.
Yeah, that was... I usually hear that. Eddie.
Looking up, the two of, no, it's Quinn did it. It was
I did it.
Ah,
yeah, look,
okay.
It's God, I get them mixed up. Which is Quinn? Are you Anna or Elsa? You're
I'm
Elsa,
Elsa.
right? Right. Looking up, the two of them saw Elsa and Anna descending from a nearby hill, running towards them. Both of them, with no commas, it makes it seem like a hill is running towards them. Both of the men's eyes lit up when they saw the ladies, causing them to run out to meet the sisters.
You
As
didn't say
Kristoff-
they were dames.
As Kristoff and Anna met, she crashed into him, sending the mountain man flying backward onto the ground. Looking up, he flinched as she yelled at him,
You've got some nerve, mister! You think you can go on a Am I too high?
No,
No, you're good, actually.
You're good.
Okay, some suicide mission to save the world like you're some Mr. Invincible and risk death. I could have ended up being the crazy old cat lady because I love you too much to move on if I lost you. Okay.
However, Kristoff pulled her in
was
for
she
a
planning her whole future without him?
Apparently.
While this was going on?
Straight to cats.
However, Kristoff pulled her in for a passionate kiss, ending the fiery redhead's tangent. As the two of them held each other close on the ground, he softly said,
I'll always be with you, I promise.
Well, that was weird. Why did it cut out for that voice?
Yeah.
How about this?
I'll always be with you, I promise.
Meanwhile, Eddie and Elsa were closing in on one another. Many dunes away, apparently. Elsa ran up to Eddie, causing the two of them to embrace. Eddie gently lifted her face to meet his as the two of them shared in their own kiss. There was something about almost losing Eddie twice in one day that made Elsa want him closer to her than ever before. Eddie turned to Eddie turned to his full human form as the two of them shared in their moment of intimacy. The both of them felt so alive and truly peaceful, and now that the danger was gone, everything was as it should be. Almost. Eventually, Spider-Man and Iron Man were on the scene and inspected the destroyed castle. Neither one of them could believe it. Tyrannus was gone. Venom and Kristoff actually pulled it off. Spider-Man
My
decided...
science can't explain this.
Spider-Man decided to break the ice by saying,
It's over. Tyrannus is beaten.
He quickly turned to face Eddie Brock, who resumed his symbiote form, save for his face as he gently let go of Elsa to face Spider-Man. Spider-Man quickly finished.
Spitfire says, now Spider-Man and Iron Man are gonna embrace. Everybody's pairing off. So I guess that voids our alliance then.
To which Venom replied,
I'm afraid so.
The entire group gasped and filled with dread as the two enemies faced one another, preparing for the inevitable fight. The bitter adversaries eyed one another as a thick tension filled the air. Spider-Man knew that as soon as the symbiote covered Eddie's face, the battle was on. However, Eddie only stood there saying,
I've waited a long time for this moment, Spider-Man. I've always imagined what I'd say to you when we finally have our chance to finish this. Once the long overdue battle between us finally continues.
After saying that, Eddie looked over to Elsa, who had not so much a look of terror, but sadness in her eye. Okay, I mean, sure. He quickly looked back to Spider-Man and said,
For the longest time, I've awaited closure for everything that I've been through. But today, I've gotten it.
A wave of confusion fell through the group at Venom's last comment. Eddie quickly elaborated by saying,
You helped me rescue Elsa and protect my family.
Oh, I should be doing Dom's voice here.
Protect my family.
He motioned toward Elsa, Anna, Kristoff, Olaf, and Sven before he finished.
I would have never succeeded on my own, and for that, you have my thanks and my forgiveness.
He quickly reached out his hand to shake Peter Parker's. The two of them grasped and shook hands as a huge form of relief fell among the crowd. Spider-Man couldn't believe his luck. Venom, his most bitter enemy, was now his friend. As the enemies made their amends, Kristoff took the opportunity he had and spoke to Anna.
You know, there was something I was meaning to do since the other day when we went to the market. Hopefully... Wait, sorry. Unfortunately, I never had the chance on account of Carnage.
Anna asked with a hint of excitement. Kristoff slowly reached into his pocket, saying,
Sorry, I've been planning this for a while now.
He quickly pulled out a beautiful gold ring, saying,
Anna, will you be my wife? My wife?
Discord probably.
Jesse said the line like 3 times.
Oh, Elsa, that didn't go through.
Yeah.
The princess screamed in delight as the two of them kissed again. That was when...
Are you sure? Not a good time to scream.
It'd be an avalanche.
Mixed signals on it.
That was when I love
that was when
he always gives us he always gives us one right at the end, and it's like a happy ending. That was when Eddie and Elsa held each other again as they watched the other young couple in pleasure.
Oh no!
God.
Oh God!
It was then that the truth.
I can't believe they're entering the suck zone right here. Jeez.
Everyone join the Discord. We turn the general chat into the suck zone.
What the hell?
Well,
are you trying to leave a review?
Okay. It was some weird lag typing that command in. Okay, well, that does it for Chapter 15 of Venom's New Beginning. Tune in next week for the final chapter. Finale next week. I don't know where they're going to go from here.
I was gonna say, feel pretty wrapped up.
It's gonna be the final
epilogue
scene between Kristoff and Anna, obviously.
Right.
Anna.
Exactly. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're a little over time. Remember, it all going according to plan.